Can you imagine if you lived in a far, far away country, in a land where you do not know the people, you do not know the language, you know how to speak it, but you don't understand it very well. The customs, the culture is very different. The people have some habits that are very weird. The climate isn't the way that you're used to being, and all of these different things. Can you imagine living in a different place, in a different culture, with different everything different? Today we're going to study a little bit about that. Grace and peace for you that are listening to me. Thanks a lot for connecting and tuning in so that we can make our Bible verse together. Today our main theme is the God that cares. Our main Bible verse is in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 18. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. So here we have Prophet Isaiah. He's talking about something that is going to happen in the future. This is a prophecy that he's talking about. Hundreds and hundreds of years later, this is going to happen. The people of Israel, they will be taken captive to Babylon, and there, after many years weeping, they would think that God had abandoned them, that God had forgotten about them. And here he is writing an advice that they're hundreds of years later for them to remember about. And he's telling them, forget the old things, focus on the new things. Now, here some theologians, they explain to us that this people, they started to commit sins. They started committing sins to such a point that they weren't able after to repent of those sins. So they would think that way, they would commit themselves to following a path that leads through the world, that is abandoning God, which is leaving him and not wanting his help, like hating him. And in that way, they would be more involved with the worldly things. But like we know, when any human being, he's going away from God, getting away from God, that will cause his body to death. So diseases, problems, issues. And with all these problems, they would repent of seeking these things, and they would want to seek God again. But then for them to seek God, they would have to believe that it was able for them to seek God. And they were thinking themselves that they had committed so many sins, that they had compromised so much to sin, that it would be impossible for them to come back to God. And here the prophet, he is telling them, he's telling us, he's telling me and you today, that for God all things are possible. He makes all things new. Many times, most of the times, we're expecting God to do something according to what he did before. Just that, like in some situations, that's practically impossible for that to happen. So that's what God is telling us today. That's what the prophet is telling us today. For us to not be in a box. Get out of the box, think out of the box, and prepare yourself for something new, for something better. This also involves a transformation in our mentality, because we're always used to be doing the same things the same way. And when we see changes, our mind does not accept that, because it's not programmed for that. But here we see that we should be expecting changes, we should be wanting to change, and also knowing that for God, he's going to do new things in a different way. Things that the core point of our study here is for us to maintain our faith in God, and also to understand that there is a way out. There is a solution for every situation. I hope this video has been a blessing for your life. Grace and peace.